I mean, just the voice, the narration, the music, the whole thing is great, right? And so yeah, I remember just watching this video and just being like so inspired. And I'm also, I mean, the book. I mean, I read the book when I was a kid, and I always remembered it was a great book. And then about a year and a half ago, I picked it up again and read it, and I was like, wow, like this has some really deep, profound lessons in this little children's book, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why Dr. Seuss had such a profound impact and sold so many books, is because his books, you know, they're fun and they have a great message, right? And so it's super inspiring to me, right? And so, you know, this is an example of the type of book I would love to publish, right? Like a book that not only is fun, entertaining, but also, you know, inspires people and can teach some lessons and some ideas. And so I want to talk about the story a little bit, right? So, you know, at the beginning, he's walking through the streets, and, you know, you're figuring out, you know, which way do I go? You know, do I want to go down that street or that street? And, you know, there's some streets you're not going to want to go down in life, right? And that's why, you know, we talk about goals so much, because it's so important that you figure out, you know, which direction do you want to go? Which direction do you want to head in your life, right? And you have to go somewhere, right? Like sitting around in the waiting place for your whole life, it's not a way to live, right? Like we're humans, we're meant to go somewhere, we're meant to climb some mountain. And so you got to pick, right? You got to pick your mountains, you got to pick your path, and pick your street. And the great thing is, like, it's your life. Like, you can always change your mind later, right? Like, you can always go down one street and say, hey, that's not the street for me. I'm going to turn and go down this different path, right? So I think a lot of times I've waited in my life because I wasn't sure, you know, if I could change my mind later, right? But like, I think like having that mindset that, you know, no matter what you do or where you go in life, you can always turn around later. You can always choose a different path, right? I think having that mindset will help you when you do get stuck to kind of unstuck yourself, right? It also says in there, when things start to happen, go along too, right? You'll start happening too, right? And like, you know, I know so many times in my life there's been, you know, things will happen that were totally unexpected, like maybe good things or maybe bad things, maybe scary things or stressful things. And, you know, the natural kind of human tendency when something new or surprising comes up is to, like, you know, kind of step back and, like, you know, wait and like figure out the situation. And what I found is that, you know, if you just kind of go along with it, like just go along with life, right? Like you don't have to resist everything. You don't have to control everything. You don't have to fix everything. You know, sometimes bad things happen, sometimes good things happen, sometimes unexpected things happen. And, you know, if you experience life as it is, instead of trying to always make life fit, you know, a certain way it has to be for you, I think you're going to have a lot more fun and get a lot more out of life. And then it talks in there about how, you know, you're going to soar to high heights, right? And you're going to fly, and you're going to be the best, and you're going to beat everyone, and you're going to be, right? And like, that's what we tell all our kids, right? Like, you're going to be the best, you're going to be an astronaut, you can be anything you want to be. And then at some point in our life, we do something, and we try to be the best, and we try to win something, and we try to do something great, and then we fail, and we fail miserably, right? And that's part of life too, right? It's like understanding that you're gonna have times where you're gonna win, and you're gonna have times where you're gonna lose, and that's okay. That's just a part of life, right? It doesn't mean anything about you. Like, if you're good or bad, it doesn't, like, you know, the quality of you as a human being has nothing to do with whether you're winning or losing right now in life, right? I think that's always important to remind yourself, like when you fail to achieve a goal, when something bad happens, you know, a family member dies, you know, some struggle, some challenge comes up in life, like, you know, it's not your fault, right? It's life happens. You know, accidents happen, bad things happen. That's a part of life. And so you have to kind of temper yourself and remind yourself that, yes, sometimes I'm going to win, sometimes I'm going to lose, and that's life. And I'm going to always try to do my best, because that's the only way I know how to live, right? That's like the best way to live. And it talks about the waiting place. And I think, you know, ever since I was a kid, I always observed the waiting place in adults around me, right? Like I could just tell, like, there were some adults that, you know, didn't really like their jobs, didn't really like their family, didn't really like their life, and just kind of kept doing the same things over and over again. And I never wanted to be like that. But, you know, now that I'm 30, I can say, like, there's definitely times in my life where I kind of waited around a little bit too long, right? Waited for things to happen, waited to get moving, waited to start a new project or start a new relationship or start a new exercise plan or start a new diet, right? And I think, you know, this is very similar to the dragon issue we talked about before, right? So a dragon is like a big, scary issue, something that frightens you. And I think, you know, there's some things in life that can be so frightening or like we get so habituated to them that we forget, right? Like And I think that's why a lot of people wait. It's like they're afraid of something, but then we forget that we were afraid of it, right? And it's like we become so afraid of something that, or so used to something that, like, we just block it out of our consciousness. Like, we don't even think about it anymore, right? And I know I had that, like, with exercise. I had that for years. So, you know, after college, I never really played any sports and wasn't really that active. And, you know, 4 or 5, 6 years went by where I didn't really exercise that much. And it's like, you know, you get so used to the way things are that you don't even realize you're waiting around anymore. Like, I didn't even realize I was waiting around to start some new sports or to start a new exercise program, right? And I think that's the kind of thing that we need. Like, we need some more consciousness around that. We need some more awareness around that. We need some support around that, right? Because, you know, it's okay to go a couple of years maybe without exercising, but if you go, you know, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, you know, bad things start to happen really quickly, right? And that can happen in any area of life, from finances to health to relationships, right? Like, we can just get used to the way things are. We can just wait around. We can forget what we really wanted or where we were really headed in life, right? And I think that's why the book is so exciting about, like, you know, when we're kids, we have these huge dreams. We want to do everything. We want to go everywhere. We want to, you know, kids will, I've had some fun conversations with, like, young girls where they'll talk about, you know, their dream weddings and all the things they want to do with their life and their dream careers. And like, it's like, you know, the sky is the limit. Like, there's no limits for a kid, right? Like, they can do anything. They can go anywhere. And I think the sad thing about becoming an adult in some ways, I know a lot of people, like, we get lost. Like, we lose that ability to dream, to look forward to great things, right? And that's another thing I love about this book. It says, you know, oh, the places you'll go, and, like, the voices, right? It's just like there's so many amazing things you can do in your life, right? And there's so many amazing places you can go, and so many great things you can achieve, and so many amazing experiences you can have. But if you're not on the path, if you're not on the road, you're not going to get anywhere, right? And this happens to everyone, right? So, like, we all get stuck at times, right? I think it's just a kind of natural human psychology to get stuck, right? And so, you know, my goal in my own life is to kind of not stay there, right? To not get stuck, and to get unstuck and to get moving, right? In every area of life, right? And my goal for you is to support you in doing that as well. It also talks about the lonely games you play against you, right? That's really profound to me, right? So I know some lonely games I've played against myself is, like, you know, trying to be right, right? So I remember, you know, as a teenager, like, if I had a conversation with my mom, like, I always had to be right, right? Like, if she said something I didn't agree with it, like, I had to be right. I had to prove I was right. I had to explain my whole reasoning. And I don't do that anymore, especially with my mom. Like, I'm just like, okay, Mom, I love you, you know? You know, it is what it is. Like, maybe we don't agree on this, but I love you just the way you are, you know, and I'm not gonna fight about it, argue about it anymore. I'm not going to resist anymore. I'm not going to try to be right, because it's just a lonely game. Like, it's like no one wins, right? When you try to be right, like, no one wins, right? And I think there's a lot of games like that people play in life, where it's like you just do something because it's just the way you've always done it. But, you know, if you kind of look at your actions and how that's impacting other people, maybe it's kind of a lonely thing you don't want to do anymore. Maybe it's kind of separating you from other people and separating you from the places you want to go in life. And then it talks about facing your problems, right? Face up your challenges wherever you go, right? You're going to go far, and you're going to have problems, you're going to have challenges, and you have to face them up. And I think that's why so many people wait, right? Because there's these challenges that they couldn't figure out. Like, maybe they didn't have the strength or the courage or the knowledge or the wisdom or the fortitude or the support at a certain time in their life to face those challenges, right? And then we wait and we wait and we wait, and we never get around to it. So I think that's one of the really important things to do in life, is to be able to identify problems, right? Because you can't solve a problem until you identify it, right? Until you spot something, you can't fix it. And it talks about getting mixed up and confused, right? Like, there's paths you're going to go down where you go down really far on this path, and then you realize, wow, that path didn't take me anywhere. And that's okay too, right? Like, that happens in life all the time. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? And we mentioned just on this last marketing meeting with Jethro, right, about, you know, doing outreach to people and how, you know, sometimes you're going to, you know, get a review on a blog that has, like, no traffic, and maybe it won't produce any results, or maybe it will. It's like, you don't really know. But either way, it's good experience, right? You're going to learn something from that experience, right? Because it's better to go somewhere than to go nowhere at all, right? As long as you're not going in the wrong direction. If you're going somewhere in the approximately right direction, better to go there than to not move at all, right? Than to stay in the waiting place. Because you're going to learn and you're going to grow from that experience, and you're going to make better decisions in the future and hone in on your direction a little bit more. So to summarize, I think it's super important, you choose your goals, right? Choose where you're going in life, choose where you're headed in every area of life, right? Not just business, not just work. Where do you want to go with your health? Or where do you want to go with your relationships? Where do you want to go with your family, your spirituality? Everything in life that's important to you. Where do you want to go? And get really clear on that. And ask yourself, like, are you currently headed in the right direction? Like, are you currently moving in that area? Like, are you really getting somewhere? Or are you kind of stuck right now? And if you're stuck, it's okay. It's just, be aware of it and then ask for help, ask for support. Another point I wanted to make about, your path is like, if you know where you're going, you know where you're headed, like there's some paths that will get you where you want to go, but you don't want to go down that path, right? Like money is a great example. Like there's some people who, they want a certain amount of money, they want to achieve financial success, something like that. And they sacrifice like what's really important. They sacrifice their family or their health or their values or their ethics or something to get a result, right? And so they achieve their goal, but they, along the way they leave this, path of ruin behind them, right? And so, not every path that gets you there is the right path, right? So not only do you have to find the path to the destination you want to get to, but you have to find the right path for you, right? The path where you're true to yourself, the path where you're authentic to yourself, where you're fulfilling your own values and you're not sacrificing the other things that are really important to you in life. All right, so with that, we're going to